Hey everybody, in today's video we're going to be doing a lot of baking and I hope that y'all enjoy it. I always enjoy baking, but this time of year is my favorite time to bake. I love to bake anytime from the fall and going into Christmas time. So here's my Walmart haul for the day. Sadly, I will tell you, all this cost around $60 something, but I had a couple of different events that I was baking for. One was a youth party for our church, and the other is a family get-together that we have every other Sunday, so it is well worth it. And here I'm showing you the receipt, but a lot of this was great value brand, but everything costs a lot nowadays. So basically most of this video is all filmed on Saturday. So I was in the kitchen a lot of the day. We did have a birthday party to go to at noon, but I had to make some kolache rolls. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of those, but I did cheat. I used the yeast rolls that you can buy in the freezer at Walmart. I needed to go ahead and get those rolls out because they do have to rise for a few hours. So I went ahead and did that before we went to the birthday party, which was at a restaurant at noon. My son had to come check them out, as you just saw. I had started my morning by delivering some cake and cupcake orders that I had for the week, and then I ran into Walmart, got what groceries I needed, and then I had to plan out the day so I would make sure that my kolache rolls would be done in time. So I got those out, and then I did go ahead before we left for the lunch birthday party. Go ahead and get my sweet potatoes going. So you can boil sweet potatoes, but I also like to just stick them in the microwave. To me, it makes less of a mess, and I don't think it usually takes as long. Now, these potatoes did take a little longer because they were really big potatoes, but normally they don't take as long as when you boil them. I'll show you what I'm going to do with them later. And while the sweet potatoes are in the microwave, I start on my apple pie. So first, I am just peeling all of the apples that I will need. I was doing my best to see if I could peel it all in one, and I do manage to get at least one like that, which I'm pretty proud of. And yeah, this is the one it is. I have to show y'all. I had almost done it in like 3 right before that, but at the very end, it would break off. And so you just slice these up really small. I'm going to put the recipes down below in the description for all of the different things that I'm going to be making today, so y'all can keep an eye out for that. This apple pie recipe I actually got from my mother-in-law, and I like Dutch apple pies. They're my favorite, and this is the perfect Dutch apple pie recipe. It's really simple, and I haven't done this yet, but my husband said that his mom used to get apples from the apple orchards because they live in Virginia, and there was a ton of apple orchards up there. And in the fall they would go get apples, and then she would go ahead and make the apple pie filling and can it. So all she had to do was throw it into a pie crust. I do want to try that sometime. I don't know if we'll get to do that this year, but if we do get to go to the apple orchard, I might try to get some apples and do that, because I mean, this is already pretty quick and simple, but that would make it even faster. I can't wait to share this recipe with y'all because it's legit one of my favorite recipes. Even my husband's grandmother loved this recipe, and she is a really good cook. She is pretty picky because she is so good, and she's asked me to make this more than once, so that does make me feel good. Right there, I'm sure that y'all saw that my little girl, she grabbed a hold of the camera stand, and I went ahead and left that in the video. In my opinion, the best part about the Dutch apple pie is the crumble on the top. I love that. I've never liked the lettuce top. I guess that's American apple pie, I'm not really sure. But I've never really liked that. To me, it usually is just way too thick. I'm sure that if it's done correctly, it's good. But that's why I really like the Dutch apple pie. I love the crumble on top. It's just perfect. So I managed to get the apple pie filling done and the crumble already made before we went to the party that was for lunch, but I did have to I went ahead and put the apple pie filling in the crust, and then I put that in the fridge. And then when we got back home, that's when I added the topping, and I stuck it in the oven so it could go ahead and bake. That was for the day for the next day, but I wanted to go ahead and have that baked. It's just as good the next day, like if you heat it up or even if you don't. To me, it's just as good. I really like this the pie crust guard so your edges don't burn. I got that at Hobby Lobby. I think I've shown y'all that in the past video when I did the fall shop with me. And so while the pie is baking, I'm going to be peeling the layer off of the outer layer off of the sweet potato. It comes off so easy if you boil the potato or cook it in the microwave. And I was thinking, I am so thankful that I'm not having to peel this with a knife, because these potatoes were shaped really weird. And I feel like that would have just made it really hard. But these were cooled, and so yeah, it was really simple to go ahead and get them peeled. So the sweet potatoes are for what my family calls sweet potato soufflé, and that is also one of my favorite dishes. And for some reason, I guess because people serve sweet potato pie in the fall, it makes me think fall. And so that's one of my favorite things to bake in the fall too. And it's got sugar in it, but you get to put it on the salty, quote unquote, salty table instead of the dessert table. But to me, I mean, some restaurants sell it as a dessert, but I like it that my family thinks that it's a salty thing. So as a kid, I'm like, I can eat basically a dessert, and it gets to count as some of my salty food. But we don't do marshmallows on the top of ours. I'm not really sure what that's even called. I'm sure it isn't called sweet potato soufflé, but ours has I call them pecans. I know that they're called like several different things. I say pecans. But yeah, we put pecans on the top of ours. I will put the recipe down below. And this was also meant for the next day, for the family get-together. And you can go ahead and make the filling and put it in the fridge in your 9x13 dish the night before. And then later I'll show y'all I made the topping for it. And I just wait and add it on the next morning, which I will show y'all later on in the video. So that's nice because both of the things I was making for the next day, I was able to go ahead and prep ahead of time and not have to get up super early on a Sunday morning before church to have to get these meals ready. So that's really nice. So in next week's video, I'm thinking about doing a vlog. I'm not sure yet. I've never done anything like that. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Me and my husband are going to be going on an anniversary trip to Tennessee, and I kind of want to vlog it, but y'all let me know if you've stuck around in the video this long. Comment down below, do you want me to do a vlog or just a regular video? So since I had been working in the kitchen half the morning, the kitchen sink was like piling up with dishes. And so after I got the sweet potato soufflé already prepped, the apple pie was still in the oven because it takes around 50 something minutes to an hour. I think it took around an hour to bake that day. And so I went ahead and emptied the dishwasher, and thankfully most of the dishes that were in the sink were able to go into the dishwasher, and that always helps a lot. So it wasn't as bad as it looked, thankfully. One thing I do want to know is, does everybody's kitchen sink get like this like overnight? I literally, I will wash dishes. It feels like sometimes all day, and then when it gets nighttime, somehow the sink is like piled with dishes again. But I don't understand. Like, I'm like, how did supper do that? I felt like supper was like a one dish thing, and there's literally like a sink full. But I do try to keep it straightened up all throughout the day. It's just sometimes, yeah, in the evenings, especially it seems like on the weekends. So here, like I said, this was a Saturday, and I hate on Mondays if the sink is like going crazy. And so I do try to keep it clean over the weekend. So on Monday, starting the week, it can be started out fresh and everything is clean. Isn't that so much better than the sink full of dishes? That just, that makes me feel so relieved right there. Even just now watching it in the video, that like relieves stress. And here is the apple pie. So it's actually a little darker than that in real life. You would want it to be a little darker, in my opinion, than what this is making it look like it is. So yeah, I would, in the recipe, it would say bake until such and such, or until golden brown. It actually was golden brown. It just didn't look like that in the video. So one of the kolaches I was doing was basically just a fancy pigs in a blanket. They literally look like pigs in a blanket. So I mean, basically that's what it was. Instead of using crescent rolls, I used these yeast rolls, and I thought they tasted better. My husband said he thought that they tasted a little bit better, but he was like, I don't know like how much of a difference it made. But this was, like I said, for a bonfire that we were having for our youth group. My brother and his wife actually hosted it, and we just decided to do a bunch of kolaches. So mine was the basically pigs in a blanket. I thought the kids would like that. they did turn out really good, and they baked through easier than crescent rolls do, so that was a plus too. And the kids loved them. And then here, for the rest of these, I did dessert kolaches, and these were Danish ones, like a cheese Danish, and then half of them I did like a cheese Danish with a cherry filling. I just bought the cherry pie filling. I didn't make that, but I did make this, like the custard, and it was really good. And I'm glad I put it on both and then topped it with the cherry and didn't just put the cherry. So yeah, right there was a big bubble. I don't know if you could see it in the video, but I was getting a kick out of that, and I could not get it to pop at first, but it did pop. So here I was just adding the melted butter around the edges, and I went ahead and got these ready, and then they were supposed to rise for another hour, and I didn't have time to do that and then bake them before we had to leave. So I wound up carrying these over to my sister-in-law's house and baking them there, which worked out fine because they were the dessert, so they didn't have to be ready right away, and so they were still warm when we were ready to eat them. And I did get a lot of compliments on them, so I will put the recipes for those down too. And I just found them on Pinterest, and I kind of like mixed some of the recipes, because the actual recipe I found for that custard it had a homemade kolache roll to go with it, but I didn't want to do homemade. I just wanted to use the yeast rolls, so that's what I did. And then here is the pretty bonfire, and we also had s'mores and a bunch of fun fellowshipping. So here's the next morning. So this is Sunday morning. I got up. I had been wanting to try this pumpkin pie spice. I had it last year, but this was the first time this year I'd had it, and I missed it. And I'd had that in my cabinet for like a month now, and I decided to get it out and make me some while I was finishing up the sweet potato soufflé. So normally I do have these throwaway food safe gloves that I use, and because I hate the feeling of butter on my fingers and hands, I just hate it. So normally I don't do this. I tried to use a fork, but I could not get it to blend good. So yeah, I didn't have any of the gloves. Of course my hands were clean, I had just washed them, but just so y'all know, I just can't stand the feeling of butter like that on my hands. I hate it. But you gotta do what you gotta do to be able to get that butter mixed in good. And so yeah, I did it. But you just crumble this over the top. It's super easy, and then you stick it in the oven, and it bakes for around 35 minutes, and you want it to be golden brown too, and it is so good when it comes out. So now the video is coming to an end, and I just wanted to show y'all some of my orders that I had for the week. This isn't all of the orders that I had, but this was some of them closer to the end of the week. And I did stay pretty busy with cake orders this week. I was in the kitchen most of the week, honestly, but it was well worth it, and I loved the way those turned out. I thought they were really cute. And I had a bunch of different flavors this week too. There was Biscoff, lemon, vanilla, confetti, and sweet potato. And so there was a lot of different flavors, but they all turned out good, I believe. I got a lot of compliments on them, so that's good. And then here's just some individual pictures so you can see things, decorated things a little bit better. If you enjoyed this video today, please give me a like and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video.